Sorry, we apologize for that. My microphone was off, but a very good morning to you. The show is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Guto, and it is a pleasure to have you on board. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in and watching us at this day, the 22nd of April, 2022. On the other side is Dr. David Matanga. Doctor, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Miriam. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa across the continent, the globe, wherever you are in America, in Canada, in Asia, in South America, in North America, the entire African continent. Good morning.
All right, good morning. And also, we're also joined by Gladwell Kiragu from, I don't know, she'll tell us where she is today. Gladwell, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam. Good morning to Doc. Good morning to our viewers. Today, I'm just within Githurai.
All right, nice to have you and to see you this morning, Gladwell. So let me just bring us up to date with the latest, the news making headlines across the country. And we start with the Daily Nation. Cat and mouse cornered. Tempers are steadily rising and patience fast running out within Raila's Azimio's camp as he dithers on announcing his running mate. With the decision yesterday to use popularity polling to pick the right candidate and the infighting and avert an implosion, or is it a clever ploy to buy time and manage the bruised egos of the politicians who have laid a siege on him and the president? The story is on page 6. Compensation. Family rejects 2 million Kenya shillings offer for kin killed in steel mill accident. The story is on page 3. It is a done deal. Wanyonyi to deputize Igathe in city contest. That is on page 23. Why TSC will not promote teachers with masters and PhD. That is on the back page of the Daily Nation. The Standard newspaper, Azimio roadmap for Raila's deputy. You'll find that on page 6. Igathe, a deputy who fought to be heard by Sonko. That is on page 8 and 9. Mudavadi, this is our deal with DP Ruto. That is on page 12. And that is what we have on the front page. Then, of course, the pictorial on the Standard newspaper is the meeting yesterday that happened, I think, at the KICC. And it shows the leaders in Azimio La Umoja coalition. Azimio One Kenya Coalition, I think that's what we call it now. The Star newspaper, the main headline, new twist as Munya, Joho joined race for Raila deputy. 7-member panel broadened the search for Azimio running mate, Uhuru and Odinga to get 2 names. The story is on page 4 and 5. The rise and rise of Raila's new fixer, that will be Suna East MP, Junet Mohammed. The story is on page 6. Your sacrifice will not go unrewarded, DP Ruto tells ANC leader Musalia on page 2. And depression epidemic, 12 men hang themselves in 2 days, leaving trail of grief. That is on page 3. And CBC training for junior secondary teachers starts next month, says TSC. So that is what we have on the front pages of the 3 leading newspapers here in Kenya. Doc, I believe we have the other ones from the other countries across the continent.
The world, yes. Thank you very much, Miriam, for that. I have on this side of the Atlantic, can we call it Atlantic or riverside of the Nile River? On this side of the Atlantic, where we are near Indian Ocean, I would like to bring the news that we have. Very interesting news. Miriam, let's start with Uganda. United Nations agencies agreed to buy Ugandan food. This is very good news for Africa. I told you the other time when I was talking here, some people got annoyed with me on social media. I said Uganda has enough food to feed the rest of Africa and remain with something. So I am now vindicated. And I want to agree with everybody now, those who insulted me, that I'm happy you have had it for yourself. The United Nations says it will now buy Ugandan food and take it to World Food Program and take to Somalia and Kenya. Can you believe it? And I say, Kenya. So look, that's a very good development so far. That's why we need to have, both of us, all of us, we need to have a common market so that the food from Uganda is directly given to the people. People go and buy the food and come and feed the people in Kenya. There's no need of going through United Nations, World Food Program. Then it is given to Kenyans who are being distributed in areas where there is starvation. We need this East African cooperation. That is the news from Uganda and Britain. Johnson Bako's over-party inquiry. Sorry, the party wants to inquire more about what happened when there was COVID. The man went berserk and started running and dancing, drinking brandy while people were dying on the streets of London. So they want to find out why he did so. Then we see MP's back lies inquiry on, let me see, MP's back lies inquiry on day of humiliation for Prime Minister. Is under siege. I don't know how he's going to go through this, but believe me or not, it is a very tight corner for him. Clip security sector wings, Mudenda says. Mudenda is saying security sector wings should be clipped. This is Zimbabwe Newsday, the Eye. This one, the Zimbabwe newspaper, I don't know what is happening in Zimbabwe. Cross piles hit on government over Zimbabwe dollar. There is a struggle whether we should introduce the Zimbabwe dollar in Zimbabwe or not. Then we have the nation. I think this one of the nation, you know, Aga Khan has the nation everywhere. And he has also the nation in Nigeria, which is Buhari orders rescue of hostages with kidnappers. What is wrong? How do you rescue hostages and then with kidnappers? So what type of policy is this guy playing? I really don't understand what is going on in Nigeria. But if there is anybody who can explain to me what sort of government we have in Nigeria that go and rescue hostages also with kidnappers also. So are they on equal length? Or the kidnappers have called for rescue? Then this clarifies why the people of Biafra are saying this man is involved in killing them. If you say go and rescue hostages, then you also rescue the kidnappers. Those who kidnapped should also be rescued or killed. What is the point here? What I don't know. But Miriam will explain to me maybe.
The headline, they use as few words as possible. So Buhari orders rescue of hostages with, not go bring hostages and kidnappers. Hostages who are being held with kidnappers. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Then we have a problem. The Guardian of Nigeria said insecurity. General Obasanjo, former president, said others insist on state police as Buhari tasks service chiefs. Obasanjo is saying no. It is not. It is the duty of the police to bring in the suspects. Then Buhari says no. The commanders in chief are responsible. So I don't know. He knows very well that he's targeting the service chiefs because there's bound to be a military coup any time in that area. When you see things coming like that, where a president is saying, go and rescue both the hostages and this, and bring them. I don't know whether he's going to pick them and just take them to court. I don't know. But in Namibia, it is Namibian AR versus foreign landlords. This is people, the real Namibians, saying we cannot pay land which is ours, and then people can come on our land, settle on it. So here we have a problem there. The Sun in Namibia still says underage niece prostituted herself and testifies to the court. Those are so far the news that I've got, Miriam, from across the continent of Africa and the globe. And let me take as we ask Gladwell to tell us what is new, what she has found out in that area. You should not only rely on these papers, Gladwell. Tell us what you have found out, madam. What is there? What is in your place in Kiambu?
Thank you, Doc. Apart from politics, what is here? It seems agriculture is doing well. And mostly in the farms are mostly that the rains are back. We are hoping and we are hopeful that most of the cattle, the cattle will now produce more milk, most of the cows, because there was a shortage of milk in parts of the country. And again, you can see wherever I'm sitting, I can see a farm that is very green. Yeah, the maize plantation is also doing well. So I think agriculture is picking up also more so that the rains are back. Yeah.
And what else is there? What is the atmosphere like?
Currently it is moist, it's still a little bit chilly. It's chilly.
The weather is chilly, it's really chilly. I can see you in a full jacket.
Yeah, and the electricity went off since yesterday night due to the heavy rains. Yeah.
Electricity went off. So there is also load shedding.
Yeah. Yes.
Electricity seems to have improved in most of parts of Kenya. But Miriam, I don't know why it is again going off and on during the rain. And it rained the whole night, and I expect people in the rainwater industry will tap this water so that some parts of Kenya don't cry of water or the levels of the dams are low. But we are leaving the water to go to West Media the whole night. It has been pounding and pounded the whole night. And I think, I don't know if there's any part in Kenya that it did not receive, because I was calling. Somebody was in Kampala yesterday who went for these celebrations. One of the celebrations of a birthday bash, which is on a record on African history. And he called me at 3 a.m. that we were enjoying in a nightclub. And it was raining heavily in Kampala. So it has rained all over East Africa. And this morning I talked to my friend in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Tanzania, and she was telling me that, well, the rain was all over every place. So it is a very good blessing for East Africa, and as we shall be seeing in the second show about East African integration and what is coming up, and we shall be talking frankly in that. But that is a very good sign that in Kenya, one of the topics that has caught me is in the papers outside media before you come in and tell us more about the twists and the twists and the twists of Kenyan political Azimio and Kwanza. Yesterday I landed on a very serious document which Ruto thought it was a secret, and they had kept it, because you have noticed that nobody has come to say it is fake. Yes. And Mr. Ruto, if you thought that I can't get those documents, then you are in a very big rude shock. I am an investigative journalist, sir. So you leave me to do my contacts, and I will get every document that I want. And I got your document. I've exposed it to the people of Kenya. Don't hide it. It is for the people of Kenya. If you have divided the leadership with the rest, with 2 people, and you have left out the rest, the others also know and make decisions. Let the Gladwell Kiragu come up and say, we have a stake in the Kenya Kwanza government, which is going to come, if it comes at all, God forbid. So look at those, I looked at those, And one thing that has impressed me, Miriam, is the question of what has impressed me is the food of Uganda, United Nations World Food Program, to buy Ugandan food. That is very good. We have a surplus. We have sugar surplus. We have everything, granules, everything. There's a surplus. Carrots surplus. Maize surplus. That's why you see Ruto benefited most. He went across and bought maize from our state. And the men came and loaded the noise in the stores of Kenya. So Miriam, that's the much that I know. So I'm very impressed with that article of the government Daily Nation. Thanks to the government and to Museveni for putting more emphasis on growth of food growth, because Kenya is doing a food security. You still have a problem, a very big gap of food security. Therefore, anybody looking at it should be very happy that an East African state is providing food. And Miriam, I had a joke which I made to you people on this television, that one of the reasons why people in Kampala don't demonstrate on the streets of Kampala after elections, one of the reasons is very clear. They have plenty of food. They go back. I don't know. Excuse me. They go back and sit at home, Miriam. They don't want to hear you telling them go and break people's windows. No, that is one of the problems that we have had with our Ugandan population. Once the election is over, and it is a good thing, you don't need to come and break. Somebody has got a loan, then you you break it. I think, Miriam.
All right. You know, when you have a cough and your throat is irritated, when you talk, it irritates its father. So maybe you need to...
It's not a cough, it is air.
Yeah, yeah. When the throat is irritated. Mm-hmm.
Some air entered.
Okay. All right.
And go on speaking, I will hear you.
All right. Okay. Thank you. And a glass of perhaps warm water will help that.
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. Very well. So yesterday there's a meeting that happened at the KICC, and it's just one of the headlines we have today on the Daily Nation and of course the rest of the newspapers. Cat and mouse. So it's a long story. I will not read the whole of it. So let me just capture the highlights, just a bit of what that meeting that President Uhuru Kenyatta led yesterday. And sources privy to the discussions held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi said the popularity of a potential deputy presidential candidate would be a key attribute the advisory panel would be looking for. The advisory panel will also consider compatibility of the nominee with the presidential candidate as well as regional balance, according to the sources. The source also noted that since Mr. Odinga comes from Nyanza, that would automatically lock out candidates from Nyanza, Western and possibly Rift Valley from consideration of the position. The panel will also analyze the strengths, weaknesses and opportunities and threats of the potential candidates. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka na Kenya's Martha Karua, former Gatanga Member of Parliament Peter Kenneth, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, Nakuru Governor Lee Kinyanjui, Muranga Women Representative Sabina Chege have been floated as possible nominees. So let's just look at some of the criteria, Gladwell, here that this team will be using to settle on deputy president for the Azimio One Kenya coalition. And as I read there earlier, they look at the potential, the attribute. The first thing they'll look at is the compatibility of the nominee with the presidential candidate who we already know is Raila Odinga, and they will consider the regional balance, and then they will consider the strengths, weaknesses, the SWOT analysis of the potential candidates, and see what they're going to bring to the table. So when you start with the first one, and I think yesterday when we were looking at this matter and the issues, Doc, that you raised in your analysis yesterday, I think compatibility stood out, and we were looking at Kalonzo and Musyoka, not Kalonzo and Musyoka, Kalonzo and Martha Karua, and see how compatible, judging from the past and how these two have interacted politically, and where they stand in terms of the things they've been supporting and things of national discourse, and BBI being one of them. So we looked at a couple of factors. So if we were to look at compatibility between, say, Raila and Martha Karua, or Raila and Kalonzo Musyoka, because this will be the criteria they'll be using to settle on a deputy president. How would we rate the compatibility? How do we see, these two different people being compatible with the presidential candidate Raila Odinga? Maybe Gladwell, you speak on it before I bring Doc back.
Miriam, I think I've missed a little bit, but my network is a little bit misbehaving. I just got the last part.
Mm-hmm. Let me go then. Then you can pick from there. Miriam, there is one thing that you Kenyans should accept. If you went to school to study how to dig graves, you better stick to digging graves. By the way, studying did you know that it's a science in the United Kingdom? You get a bachelor's degree for digging a grave. You don't just come and have a djembe and start hammering the. I don't know, and I know January is going to come on my neck, but let me be honest. You can't just get a jembe, Miriam wana kuonesha, Siaya or Bududa, not only Kenya, everywhere. Lima, Matanga, Apo, Yabu. No. The science of digging a grave is studied. The placement of a coffin inside is studied, Miriam. You studied that. One of the problems that we Africans have is we don't study things. We do something else. Miriam has studied journalism. But they would like to get her into drawing pictures, maps for the buildings to be built, an architectural school, or decoration. You get my point? You go for the internal decor. You people have this word decor. I want internal decor. What is that course called? It is on the university campuses. Yeah, this thing of fashion and design.
Art and design, yes.
Art and design. If you have studied the art and the design, if you have studied journalism and somebody forces you to do art and design, this is a Friday, so we talk culture. Medium, that's not very good at all. Let's be very honest. Yesterday, Miriam, I'm happy that you have spotted something here. You have said, as Dr. Matanga said yesterday, compatibility. If you give me this exercise, which is wasting, if you go and ask them how much money you have wasted here, they are choosing a candidate. They are going to go fly Mombasa. No, me, I've already chosen the candidate. Sorry. And let Raila listen, wherever he is, and let the President Uhuru Kenyatta listen. I bet if you don't, that's me. I've done it. I've said it in my mind. That is my opinion. For us to win and defeat Ruto, I have already said in my mind. not choosing where you come from. I'm choosing from points of note that there could be disaster. When you are planning a war, you must plan a war with some fallback positions. This guy, the aim of him going to northern, to Central Mount Kenya region, what was the aim of Ruto going to Mount Kenya region? Was to make sure that he destabilizes the region. And I want Gladwell to get me today very corrective. Destabilize it and fragment it. Tell the Mount Kenya people that it is Uhuru Kenyatta who has stolen your money, not anybody else. Am I wrong, Gladwell? Isn't that the message that was given? That all the money was taken by the dynasties. Ruto succeeded in doing so. He planted the Dindi Nyoro, Kachagwa. You have seen the way they have damaged the president's name. Even if you're a rocket scientist, Medium, even if you're a rocket scientist, to pick up from the damage that is in right now, the damage that is in the Mount Kenya, to repair it will need 6 months to 10 months for people to understand. And the people are going to understand after they say, oh, Miriam, you'll hear this one, oh, I wish we knew. This guy has demonized the president's legacy. If you find somebody who is not even saying, I don't see anything that the president has done. So for me, Azimio, if you waste time and go on that you are going for retreat, to look for marks here, to look for what marks, it's very clear. Don't cause, you are wasting time by causing suspicion. You know, the more time you drag, the more you drag, you are causing more. This other guy has already chosen his people. He knows what he wants. He has silenced all of them. If you look at the Susan Kihikas who are making noise, they have been forced to take things they cannot handle. You are being given a direct ticket when you are going to have a lot of opposition. You will fail. This man, this boy, harassed us in the Jubilee Party. He planted his wrong people. And look at the mess we are having today. The people who supported, who loved the president the most, were kicked out. And he made his own people 5 years. He grew up his own parliament. And you are telling me you are still looking for an area which is fragmented. Why don't you consolidate an area, Miriam, which is with a block? We are spoiling the block. You see, Kalonzo, the delay is making people like Kivana, is making people like Mutua, is making people like some people to say, hey, what is going on here? We don't want that. Let's cement the little to have. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the mathematics. Then later on, once we have secured the mathematics, we come in this mountain, Mount Kenya, and I say now, please, we already have a head start. Can we have you come along with us? Finish this game for us. But if we are going to fight over a running mate, like we have fought over running mate in Nairobi, making unnecessary headlines, yet you could have sat down and finished. Your friend is just calling people and instructing them I say I want you to drop out for this one. You know, he's a dictator. And he has dictated very, you know, he has told people, I want you drop out, go out for this one, you start this one. You see, he knows some of the people who could have gone to Uhuru Kenyatta, he knows they will not come back, Miriam. They will not come back. So they will be defeated on UDA ticket, but they will be useless. Then now appoint those people that he did not give direct ticket to be near him. That's the strategy Ruto is using. Have you seen him giving a direct ticket to certain people? He has given them direct tickets. Go and collapse. Kiharu, you will fight. Kandara, you will fight with a Jubilee stronghold there. Don't forget these guys passed election on the Jubilee party. And that Jubilee is not finished yet in those Muranga areas. You will see. So once people like this lady called Alice Wahome, once she's defeated in Muranga, let me tell you, Ruto will not look at him at all. He won't know. He will now form a smaller group, and that is the people that he wants to command. The younger girls, Toto, the Kibrok, the Kibrok, and others. Those are the people he has brought. Look at his own place. Here in Mount Kenya, Ruto is looking for strong candidates. In his Rift Valley, he's giving younger boys of 20 years, 25, 27. Look at the, are you people not seeing? And you are in the same country. He came to Mount Kenya to destroy this divide and rule. So that division, Miriam, can bring voter apathy. So I told you yesterday, don't waste time. Stick to what is good. You write all the time. You have written something. Write that. If they don't choose the way that I want, I was telling you, didn't I write and say, please, let's have experts to choose. You don't need to go into those problems that a committee has just come ad hocly, that there were people going to sit, Macau Mtua to sit. Has Macau ever got a constituency? Has he ever been even a constituency where he doesn't know how to campaign? It's sad. It's very sad. So that is, for me, on the question of medium, on a candidate, I'm not amused. I have already said who. If they don't want, fine. I put my opinion. Yesterday I put an opinion, oh my God. The women are saying they want a woman. Ruto is just waiting to see whether you are choosing a man or a woman. Once you choose a man, and from where he goes to the area where you did not choose and put. They are gambling with life. For us, we don't need to gamble. But for him, he can gamble with life because the deputy president has been campaigning for the last 4 years to 5 years. So he can campaign for very little time. What about Raila, who has not campaigned at all? They have not been campaigning. Up to now, we are still abroad. They arrived in America, maybe today or they're about to arrive. Yes, they're about to arrive in America. They left yesterday. So, tell me, if we continue with that, there is a danger that we might lose out. The voter apathy, we might be trapped. And you see, once you have put there the name of a presidential running mate, you don't withdraw. unless God forbid someone, God takes that person, then you can now bring. That's what I can say now, Miriam. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Gladwell.
Gladwell has got a problem with
Her network this morning.
Mm.
All right, very well. I don't know if there's anybody else there.
No, there's nobody. It is you and me. Let's go ahead.
Okay, all right, very well. So, okay, the issue of Nairobi County as well seems to have been settled in Azimio after hours of negotiations amid a deadlock that had threatened to derail the fledgling alliance. Former Deputy Governor Polycarp Igathe will fly the Azimio flag in the city, a county's gubernatorial race, with Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi as his running mate. The story is on page 23 of the Stand. I will not even get into the details of it because yesterday I think we spoke about it. So I guess that is a done deal there in Nairobi. At least they were able to agree on that. But from the story, there was a bit of a tug of war because I think either parties want to control the capital.
I think they have now agreed on Tim Wanyonyi as a running mate of Igathe to match up Sakaja youthfulness. Both of Tim Wanyonyi and Sakaja are the youth. So that is okay for me. I won't make any more comments on. I like the style of Tim Wanyonyi. I also like the style of Polycarp. He knows how to structure this Nairobi, to write policies. I hope you'll stand and put his foot down. The one good thing is that I've never heard of any corruption scandal which has been associated with Tim Wanyonyi or Polycarp Igathe, but I have heard of corruption scandals associated with Sakaja and other people. And there's one thing that Miriam, have you sat down and thought about? Have you sat down and thought about one thing? We seem to have allowed everybody to be part and the parcel of the election. Have we given up on the question of corruption? Have we?
It seems to be the case. Yeah, I think that is the subject. The other time we tried discussing. You read about
I avoided that one, but now this is even going further because it looks like it is on one of the papers today.
It's on
everybody, whether you have a crime or no crime, you will do the election. Even if you are arrested on the 7th of, even if you are arrested on 7th, even if you are arrested on 7th of August for murder, and then you are the candidate for tomorrow, you will be allowed to. You'll be allowed to be on an election ballot. Okay. So, and we are right. Igathe says he's not going to stop anybody who has a case in court.
So what will be the criteria? Because they have to be.
How do you know? What do you feel yourself first?
No,
don't ask me. Because for me, I ran away from that topic.
I did not run away, and I'm not running away today. I think it's unfair. It's unfair. And if, as a country, we are serious in the fight against corruption, so that it's not just a rhetoric, but we mean business, there are characters who should not find themselves in these houses, in the Senate, in Parliament, in offices as governors, in the county assemblies as leaders because of their track record because of the cases they've had in court, they still have in court over, things that are matter of public knowledge. I think this is a mockery to the fight against corruption in this country. This is a mockery of all the efforts that have been put forth, all these, institutions that have been put out there to fight corruption. So why do we have the requirement, these people to be vetted? What is the criteria? What will you be vetting? Is this not part of the vetting that should happen? If you have a tainted image, and especially if you've held a position before, a public position before, and you have abused that office, you have, engaged in corruption, you are not fit to offer yourself to serve Kenyans. That is just the way it is. And the excuses, or rather the reasons they're giving, for me it's an excuse, because I believe these institutions are meant to be independent. They have nothing to do with an electioneering period. They have nothing to do with what is going on. At least that is what Kenyans think out there. So if EACC and the Office of the Public Prosecutions, they're coming out and saying, now we cannot go after these guys because it will look like being political, it's a witch hunt. One has nothing to do with the other. You're supposed to operate independently, or maybe now you're just telling us what some of these things, the claims that have been made out there, that you're not really independent. If you're independent, then you should do your job despite of what is happening, despite of what year we are in, whether we are in an electioneering period or not. How do you allow some people to run, How do you put these cases pending and then you start them off after the elections? And these people will be elected in these positions, and they'll use their newfound positions to frustrate even the judicial process. It will not happen. So we'll see the cases being postponed until further notice. I think it's unfair. It's unfair. The same way we see some cases, being addressed and, action being taken, it's the same way regardless of who is involved. The law should apply equally. Nobody's above the law. If you had an active case in court, whether you're being elected or not, that case should not be suspended. That case should continue, because these institutions are independent. The judiciary has told us they're independent. EACC, they're independent. So they have nothing to do with what is happening in the political world. So I don't know what they're telling us. Kenyans are really, really, not happy about this move. Otherwise, and also when you walk on these roads, and I think who said Javan, I think joked about it the other day about maybe you should just make even corruption legal, and bribery and all that. It's like everybody's operating in impunity because we're not serious. If we are to fight this monster called corruption that is costing us so much as a country, Doc. Right now, Uganda is offering food to World Food Program, I don't know, to feed, in Somalia and other places in Kenya and other across Africa, where people are starving. In this country, we're not starving because we can't feed ourselves. And I think that is where I always get a problem. And I'm annoyed, actually, as a Kenyan, because there's no reason why. In 2022, we should not be able to feed ourselves. But the people we have in place have denied our farmers an ample, situation where they can just farm and feed us, cartels and all these things. And it all stems down from corruption. So if you're really serious about saving this country and transforming this country, then corruption is something that we have to deal with decisively, not piecemeal. That's just how I feel about it.
Me, I'm with you and I sympathize with you.
I'm annoyed, actually.
I am with you and I sympathize with you. One day when you were offline, I'll tell you the reasons why I did not want to speak about corruption anymore. Yeah.
It's a joke and a mockery.
Yes, I did not want to speak about corruption because at the moment now, then let's pose a question. Before we leave and we open up under this question, I'm sending you a report of Oxfam report. Medium, you will see how these international organizations can kill countries in Africa and cause military coups and upheaval. Do you know that Oxfam has said the countries in Africa that borrowed money from IMF should pay a particular interest on the loans? And here we are. You are telling me you can't crack corruption. And Kenya is on the list, #1 among the countries Oxfam is targeting, that they should pay back interest of almost $2.3 billion. I'm sending you the report, and in fact, it's just, it's a very sad day for me when I read this report. Then I said, Allah, why should people always don't listen to Matanga? I always say, let's fight these international agencies wholesomely. Oxfam Uganda has said, it's opening, IMF must abandon demands for austerity as cost of living crisis drives up hunger and poverty worldwide. Now, in a general paper of IMF, the countries that have been exempted from paying loans back and paying interest on those loans are European countries. But African countries, and I mark this very well, African countries have been told, under Kenya, let me read the part of Kenya. Kenya and the IMF agreed a $2.3 billion loan program in 2021, which includes a 3-year public sector pay freeze and increased taxes on cooking gas food. More than 3 million Kenyans are facing acute hunger as the driest conditions in decades and spread of devastating drought across the country. Nearly half of the households in Kenya are having to borrow food or to buy it on credit. But why am I saying there's something which is very, we shall get a day, Miriam, to talk about this because I can see we are on top of the hour. My dear sister, in the top, Oxfam says all European countries, they should be exempted so that they could, you know, what is to cushion. IMF should cushion their economies and cushion the people of European Union and other countries. So are we lesser people on planet Earth? And then when you come, that you are fighting to make sure that corruption goes away, so that the money that came in borrowed is not misused. Something wrong has happened. So I will send you that report and you read. You know what? By the end of the read, you will shake your head and say, Allah, what is all this? And they have not, let me tell you, they have not hidden. They have written it openly to say, you shoulder and you cushion the economies of the other economies in Europe that had done so well. So where are we? We can't, our loans can't be cushioned, and that's where we are. Thank you.
All right.
Let's take a brief, I think. Yes? Miriam, yes?
Yes. I think that's where we end the Good Morning Show as we take a break and come back with the Unfiltered. So don't go too far. We'll be back in a bit. Thank you for watching.